Good morning, all. How are we? Welcome to another what? What we had here? Another weight loss week. It is. It's a brand new weight loss week. How are we all? Hope you've all had a great weekend. We're on another live TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Hope you're all well. Hope you've all had a lovely, lovely weekend. Made the most of that wonderful weather. The weather's been absolutely sensational this weekend, hasn't it? It's even worse today. What's going on? We've got 50-mile-an-hour winds here on the Fylde coast here in Lancashire. It is absolutely dismal. Dismal. I quite like that word. I'm a very positive person, but I do like the word dismal. It is dismal here on the Fylde coast. Yeah, we've got wind, we've got rain. It's rather cold. The real Lost Boss hoodies are back on, I think, for the season. Though you can, it's absolutely like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Well, we went out with some friends like mid-August, so just about a month ago, and it was Reddit. Sat outside in the sunshine, lovely one. Just in 4 weeks, how quickly the weather can change. It is honestly so. It's just that's just a bit horrible, isn't it? It's just a bit rubbish. Anyway, it is what it is. I think it's one of them as well. We're not used to it. We're not used to it this year. The summer has been, we've had a great summer here in Lancashire. It's been great summer for if you're a farmer or something, it might not have been the best summer if you love your gardens. I don't think we've had many hosepipe bands up here, but we've had a really good summer. So we're just not used to rain, just not used to wind and rain. It's like, what's going on? This is how busy I've been this morning. I have literally got, not because I've filled it up and drunk it, I have got a dribble of water. So that's not a good start today. I have actually just downed a pint. So I'll be all right to the end of the live. I'll sip. I'll sip like I'm on rations. Anyway, it only says I've got one follower on TikTok. One person in the live. Let me go in. No, there's a few of you. That's all right. Oh no, it says 22 now. That's okay. I was like, where is everyone? What's going on? Everyone's just battening down the hatches because of the weather. Anyway, let's do a top 5 on TikTok this morning. Lisa's in at number 1. Donna's in at number 2. Kelly C's in at number 3. Faye's in at number 4. And Callum is in at number 5. Good morning, guys. Thank you very much, as always, for coming straight on the live, coming and saying hello. Sheila's in. Morning, Sheila. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. I think I've seen Jan in as well on the list somewhere. Anna, good morning. Kelly, good morning. Anston, good morning, Neil. I hope you're well apart from the matches. Yeah, we're good. To be honest with you, he's just become standard practice. It doesn't even. Rachel was like, "You're not upset?" I was like, "Nah." And I said, I'm just like Gary Neville. It's like, we get beat and normally you're angry and frustrated. And so he's just like, "Meh." So it's got. Not asked anymore. I'm just gonna start watching golf. That's all I'm going to start doing. I was watching golf. Oh, Jan is in. Morning. Back from our cruise and got straight back on it on Saturday. Brilliant, Jan. Hope you had a wonderful time. Pete saying good morning, mate. Karen H, good morning. And then YouTube got Gemma in and Kevin. Good morning. Yes, there we go. It's a new weight loss week. I put a little inspirational post out this morning on YouTube, Facebook. You know my philosophy. Start the week as we mean to go on. It's a brand new weight loss week. Lay those foundations, have a good Monday, Tuesday. And it I'm not saying this happens week in, week out, right? So don't beat yourself up if it doesn't happen. But I would say, certainly 8 times out of 10, you end up having a good Monday, Tuesday. The rest of the week can just fall into place, or it just makes the rest of the week, easier, makes it fall into place a little bit better. Bank a good few calories, get your steps in, etc. Really, really important. Always been something I've always really focused on is ticking off Monday, Tuesday, right? And I put in that post this morning. Yeah, you might have some post weekend blues, Monday, back to work. Here we go. The weather's a bit rubbish. Doesn't matter. Push through it. Get at it, right? Whatever you do on your regular, things that I like to do on a Monday is plan my food, certainly for the next 2 or 3 days, pre-track my diary, get a good amount of steps in. Monday is normally one of my highest step days. I like to get to the gym, like to make sure I get my protein in, get some fiber in, just bank a good few calories for the weekend. just like to have a good Monday, right? And then, follow it up with a decent Tuesday, and you're in then. If I've banked, I can bank 1,200-1,300 calories Monday. Well, no, maybe not 1,200. Yeah, I can. I can bank 1,200-1,300 calories Monday, Tuesday going into it. You nearly banked, well over 50% of the calories. I like to take 2,000 calories into a weekend. Any more than that is just a bonus. Not this weekend, though. I'm out on Saturday. I'm out with some friends. It's an afternoon. When I say out with some friends, we're out with some friends. Me and mates, just with another couple of ours. And we're doing a little day out. All right, we're doing a little day out. We're both chatting, and we're all like, "Oh, we're at that age now where day drinking's the best sort of thing." Anyway, footy's on again, so we're going to watch. It's the Merseyside derby, and then United are on again against Chelsea for me sins, so I will be watching that. So we're having a little day out. So we're doing a 12:30 till 7:30 day out. So I don't like using, me, I hate using what I class as like negative connotations when it comes to talking about food, talking about calories. But, when I've got a busy weekend that I know is going to be fairly calorific, right? That I know is going to be fairly calorific. The terminology I'm going to use is damage limitation. I'm not doing any damage this weekend, right? If I end up having a few more calories than I would do normally, If I go more towards calorie maintenance, it just means that week I don't lose too much body fat. If I end up going over my calorie maintenance, it means that week, right, I might gain a little bit of body fat. But remember, consistency is king. Consistency is about doing what we need to do more often than not. If I've spent out of 2025, 52 weeks in a year, if I've spent 40 of those weeks in a calorie deficit in 12 weeks, if I've spent 40 weeks in my ideal calorie deficit, as I like to call it, right, and I spend 12 weeks more towards maintenance, and a few of those weeks are in calories, I'm still going to look way lighter. And that's what I've done this year. This year, how many weeks are we into the year? What have we got left? We've got October, November, December, which is 13. And then we've got 2 weeks left of things. So we've got 15 weeks left of the year. So we're 37 weeks into the year, right? And out of 37 weeks, I did Egypt, I did Fuengirola, I've done Benidorm twice, right? So I've definitely had four. I'm going to say I've had, out of 37 weeks, I've had 5 surplus weeks. And I think I've had 3 weeks where I'm not in, maybe 4 weeks where I'm not in my ideal deficit. So I've had 5 surplus weeks where I've got over my maintenance. I've gained body fat this year, right? And I've certainly had, let's say, 4 weeks where I've not been in my ideal deficit. So I've been in my ideal deficit or lower, 28 weeks. 4 weeks I've been in a calorie deficit, but not my ideal calorie deficit. But under maintenance, there's still some fat loss. And then I've had 5 weeks where I've been in a calorie surplus, where I've gained body fat back. I'm still nearly 3 stone down. For the year. So consistency is, and that has been consistent. 28 weeks ideal deficit or more. And I've had quite a lot of this week. Last week got included 500 under my ideal deficit. I've had weeks this year. I've had several weeks, certainly January, February, March, where I was 1,000 calories under, That is consistency. So this week we're out with some friends on Saturday. Is it going to be a bit more calories? Yeah. Do I kind of work out how many calories I'm going to need? I kind of roughly, look, you're always going to be guesstimating this, but I tend to have 2 drinks an hour, right? It's not a heavy session day. Now we're going out for like 6 hours, 7 hours. So if I have 2 drinks an hour, that'd be 14 pints. I'm not having 14 pints. So I'm gonna have. I said to Rach, I said I'm gonna have a couple of beers. But I'm gonna switch because we'll go in rounds. So like we'll buy a round, the other couple will buy a round. We'll buy a round, the other couple will buy a round. Right. So you've got to think about drinks, right? And we'll sort of go, and I'm gonna pace myself around the slowest drinker, right? Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not the slowest drinker, but I'm gonna pace myself. So let's have 40 drinks. My plan this weekend is to have 8 pints. Right? Don't get me wrong, this is a bit of a boozy day. Is to have 8 pints, and I'm going to have, if I have 40 drinks, 6 single vodkas. Right? Now, this is throughout a day, and we're going to grab some food as well, and this, that, and the other. So that's 8 pints is 1,600 calories, and 6 single vodka and Diet Cokes, and I'm just going to pace myself. Yeah. Is 50 calories a drink. So that's 300 calories. So I'm going to get 1,900 calories for alcohol. I'm going to get home from the gym on Saturday. I'm going to smash a massive yogurt bowl in. Huge, 500, 600 calories yogurt bowl, right? Big yogurt bowl. Fill myself up, right? Plenty of protein, plenty of fiber. 600 calories. We're going to go out some food. And I think we're going to go to Olive Tree Brasserie. I think. And I'll just get a Gyros from there, right? Which I know is 1,000 calories, right? So I'm at 600 for my yogurt bowl. I'm at 1,000 calories for me lunch, right? And then I'm at, let's say, 2,000 calories for alcohol. So I'm at 3,600 calories. Then I'm going to go to Armet's and get kebab for tea to have on the way, to have when we get home, which I'm just going to go chicken with a pita and loads of salad. So let's say that, and I'll put my own sauce on at home. So that's going to be another 1,000 calories. Then I've just got to fight. So I'm at 4,600. I'm going 5,000 calories Saturday. Little bit of a hangover Sunday. Shouldn't be anything too much. As long as I eat plenty and I pace myself out the day. Like, it sounds like I'm taking quite a bit of volume in, but it's going to be over, I'm not doing it over 3 hours, which I can do. Doing it over 7. Right? So probably 3,500, maybe 4. So that's 9,000 calories for the weekend. Right? My maintenance is about 24,000 calories. So that means if I wanted to be a maintenance week, I've got 15,000 calories still this week, right? Which is still, but I don't want to be in a maintenance this week. I want to be in an ideal deficit. So my deficit I'm trying to stick to this week is 18. My ideal calorie deficit is 18,000. So I take 9 off that. I've got 9,000. Bit low. I need 10. A little bit more than that. 10,500. So that's the calories I'm going to give myself this week, right? 9,000. So I'm still gonna be under. My aim is to be under 20,000 calories for this week. My deficit, my maintenance is 24,000. So I'm still gonna enjoy a full weekend out and be 4,000 calories in the good. So I'm still gonna lose some body fat, even though I'm going out for a day out. There we go. So this week is a little bit different. Whereas last week, like, my ideal calorie deficit puts me in about just less than about 5,700, and so I was in a 6,000 calorie deficit last week, and that'd be nearly 2 pounds of body fat, £1.5 pound, definitely £1.5 pound last week. Anyway, there we go. Gemma's busy doing my steps while watching you now. Brilliant. Big Mark saying, morning boss, morning mate. Alan Friday, so expecting a big meal. Definitely need to try and bank some. Luckily I don't drink booze, so save a lot of calories that way. I'm all about food. Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you, alcohol calories can get heavy, and if you decide, and that's where I've made some massive changes this year. I've hardly drunk. To some people, I might have drunk a lot, but for others, I've probably hardly drunk. Like, this will be, so we're well into September 2025, and I think this will be the 6th time I've had a drink in the UK. That's the 6th time. That's it. So I went out. When did we go out? Bank holiday weekend. So I had a drink bank holiday weekend, just gone. Was it bank holiday? Because we were going on holiday. Yeah, it was. It was bank holiday weekend. So August bank holiday, I had a little drink. I had a drink for my mate's birthday. We went out with some friends. I had a barbecue with some pals. Been to a mate's housewarming. That's 5. And then going out now, let's say 6 times. So I've had 6 little, like, over 37 weeks in the UK. Now, don't worry, I've been on holiday and I've always drunk when I'm on holiday. But I've really toned it down, in the ear, Does that make sense? Yes, no, hopefully. I would rather eat my calories than drink them. I really, really would, Been good until next Friday. My cousin's wedding, where I'll probably end up having 100,000 calories on beer. Weddings can be, look, at the end of the day, if you are a drinker, weddings can be calorific. They genuinely can. Can we make some provisions? Yeah, but sometimes it's just a case of, no, it's a weekend off. It's my cousin's wedding. It just, we've just got to do what we need to do Monday to Friday. You say it's next Friday. I always think Saturday weddings are fine, right? Because you can bank your calories Monday to Friday, and you're all good, aren't you? And then Saturday a bit higher, and you probably won't be far off maintenance. I think Friday weddings, and you're going to end up with hangover day, Saturday and Sunday. You can do. So it's slightly different. But just smash it Monday to Thursday, Pete, and then go and enjoy your wedding. You know that. Michelle saying, good morning, boss. Good morning, Michelle. Anyone else in this morning? No. Yeah, so I had a good week last week. I was a little bit, not hesitant, that's the wrong word. I wanted to have a good week. I'm on a mission. So I weighed in on Friday after Benidorm, and I'm just over £6 up on where I was pre-Benidorm. And don't get me wrong, that's not uncommon for me. It is a very, very rare occurrence I ever go on holiday and I'm not more than £5 up. Now, I did weigh 9 days after getting back. So I'm still £6 up 9 days after getting back from holiday. But I didn't really get back to it until Monday. Yes, I tracked Thursday, Friday, and I was in a calorie deficit. But I then went into a calorie surplus Saturday, Sunday. Nothing severe, but I did. And if I then take into account the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I was on holiday, I'd say the first week I went to Benidorm, when I went to Benidorm on the Friday, I'd say that week would be more maintenance. My birthday week, definitely surplus week, right? So that overall, that's a surplus week. So really, I've only been back like in a deficit since Monday. I don't know why this is, and I've noticed this recently. I've been carrying my post-holiday weight a little bit like water food, a little bit longer than I would do normally. So when I first started my weight loss journey, I was going, and maybe I was just over-restricting when I got back. Maybe I went crazy strict, and I don't do that anymore. I don't, like I say, I got back and I tracked my calories Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I wasn't like, right, we're back from holiday, bang. I'm back in the swing of things, and I just kind of had a normal week, bank calories Thursday, Friday, slightly higher Saturday, Sunday, right? Maybe when I went back on holiday, I was really restricted. Got back from holiday first couple of years of my journey, I was really restricted for a couple of weeks. Maybe, I don't know. But it normally takes me now about 2 weeks, to shift any post-holiday weight. It is what it is. I've done this for years. It doesn't bother me. When I went to Benidorm last time, it took me about 2 weeks, about 2.5 weeks, and I was back to where I was. Now, I was 9 pounds heavier then. Now, I haven't lost 9 pounds of body fat in 2.5 weeks, right? Just like I wouldn't lose 6.5. I still think I'm carrying, I would say from last weight, I'm 50-50. I'd say I'm 3.5, maybe 3.5 pounds up body fat, 3 pounds up still. Water food weight. But next week, over 2 weeks, I'll lose 3.5 pounds body fat, and I should get rid of everything else. Plus, last week, I don't want to go into too much information, but was really stressed last week. I just had one of those weeks where work just didn't. Not only did work not quite go to plan in the sense that it just had a few issues that needed sorting out. It happens every now and then. Happens. It's part of running a business, right? I also had just a really busy week with work because the Boss Your Weight Loss Challenge has started today. And me being me, it's just who I am as a person. Leave things a little bit last minute, but I like it. I like sometimes just focusing on a day. And I like a little bit of external pressure to hit a deadline. It just makes me work harder. It's just who I am, right? But everything combined last week triggered my IBS, right? And I've not been mega uncomfortable with it. But again, TMI, my toilet trips haven't been what they normally are, is how I'll say it. So that could obviously then reflect on the scales, so it just is what it is. But, and that won't really... will hopefully settle down a little bit, but then my subconscious stress flares up my IBS, and we have to accept stress is part of life. Can't eradicate it, right? Even though I work for myself and I've got a nice bit of flexibility with working for myself and I make my own deadlines, there's still stress involved, right? And like I say, I wouldn't change my life for it, right? I love it, and I think stress at times is quite good for all of us, because if you don't experience the tougher times, then you don't appreciate the better times. Does that kind of make sense? Not trying to be too philosophical on a Monday morning, but when you realize I appreciate my weight loss way more because I've been at the depth of it. When you're 37 stone, and you lose half when you get to being so morbidly obese as I was, and you get to losing that weight, right? It didn't change my life different to someone that was 13 stone and lost 11. Yeah, of course it did. Right? It doesn't mean that being 13 stone and losing 2 stone isn't an amazing achievement and you don't feel a million times better. But we have to appreciate, different achievement level. I'm not trying to discredit anyone that's lost a couple of stone. It's fantastic. But what I'm saying was what my weight did to my daily life and to how I live my daily life now, right? All I'm trying to say is the way I used to live my life has made me so appreciative. Like, I can't put into words how much my life has changed from my weight loss is basically what I'm trying to say. Where it's not just a case of, I can buy clothes that now fit me. Like, I can get out of bed, right? I can go to sleep without worrying I'm going to have a heart attack in the middle of the night. Little things like that, which are worth more than anything. So, but I do, so this week, hopefully, should be a little bit quieter than last week. And I'm going to absolutely, last week was manic check-in, sorted out the challenge. Like I say, a few issues with work. I had 4 or 5 new starters started, so getting plans out, right? It was just a manic week. So far this week, I've got 1 new starter starting on Monday. So I've got 1 plan to write. I've still got 2 challenges to do for people on Monday. And I'm actually going to open up a couple more slots. And I'll tell you why. In the end, we've ended up with 28 people entering the challenge. I'd love 30. I don't know why. I like round numbers. Now, I'm not saying 28 isn't a round number, but I would like 30. So anybody that is on my one-to-one plan that hasn't decided to, and they've been umming and ahhing about it, if you would like to still take part in the challenge, drop me a message and you can, even if you checked in Friday and it should have been your challenge start date today, right? Message me because we'll just have you checking in again on this Friday and then we can get you started on Monday because the second start and next Monday, the way it's fallen is group 1. So you guys starting today, there is 17 of you. Right, so there's 17 of you started on the challenge today. There's 11 starting Monday. So I don't mind getting a couple extra starters going a week today. So if you've been umming and ahhing about the challenge, I'm only going to take 2 more on, right, to take it up to 30. So once 2 people sign up, that's if 2 people sign up. 2 people might not bother signing up. But if you would like to sign up, if you would like to take one of the 2 places and start the challenge and give it a go, you will start on Monday, a week today. Your challenge will finish the 12th of December. So it's going to really motivate you and run you right up to Christmas. If you win the challenge, remember, you get 500 quid. All right, you get 500 pounds. So 12 weeks on, will it be 12 weeks on Friday? Can't remember. No, it won't be. It'll be like 30 weeks. Anyway, one of you on the 12th of December will have £500 a week and a half before Christmas paid into your bank account. All right, for winning the challenge. One of you will have 150 for coming second, and one of you will have £100 for coming third. So that's all nice, isn't it? Just before Christmas. So yeah, if you're on plan at the moment and you want to give it a go, drop me a message and we'll get you sorted out. And the one thing I do find difficult is not eating all my daily calories when I'm not really hungry. More towards the end of the day, I always feel the need to use them all. You don't need to, Jeremy. You know that. Read your plan. Read your plan again. If anyone's sat there now on plan with me, right, and you're struggling to eat your daily calories, nothing. It really says, it says in your plan, nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone, right? So everything's just a guide. Never force feed yourself. Never chuck calories. So my philosophies around weight loss is we look at a weekly allowance. We split that into 7 daily amounts that are even, average. So I always use 2,000 calories a day because it's easy. So let's say your weekly calories are 14,000 calories a week, right? That's 2,000 calories a day on average. We then have days where we bank some calories, and we then have days where we use those bank calories. And for most people, that's Monday to Friday banking calories, and Saturday, Sunday, enjoying those banked calories. Nothing is set in stone. As I talk about here, right? As I talk, guys, the 2 places for the challenge have gone. All right. I've just had 2 messages from 2 people. Gone. Challenge is done. Right. Yeah, as as I've just talked about this morning, nothing's set in stone. I normally like 2,000 calories going into the weekend. This weekend, I'm going to try and take 2,500 calories. It means I'm going to eat a little bit less for the day to bank a few more for the weekend, right? So when you join my plan and you get given your calories, you also get given a calorie structure for how to structure your calories throughout the week. And why it's important to follow that calorie structure is it will keep your appetite regulated, breakfast, lunch, dinner, eating at regular times, eating reasonable amounts of calories at regular times, right? And if you make those calories, then high protein, high fiber, good volume, right? But nothing is set in stone, right? So I normally work at banking around 10 to 15% of your daily average Monday to Friday. But, on a Monday, you might not be that hungry. And if you ever watch my weekly weight loss vlog, you'll see my calories are different week in, week out on what I do. If I go through my NutriCheck now, right, the way we've always lost weight in the past has been very rigid. 12 sins a day. Can't eat carbs. Can't eat after 8 p.m. Shake for breakfast. Shake for lunch. 400 calories for your tea. Life isn't rigid. We're not robots. We've got to make our calories work for us, right? So let me go into my week view, right? And let me look at last Monday. So last Monday, I ate 2,038 calories and I banked 562. The Monday before, I ate 2,548 calories and I banked 52. It was Bank Holiday Monday, right? The week before that, I ate 1,657 calories and I banked 943 calories. The week before that, I ate 1,850. My calories are not the same, right? So I aim to bank 10 to 15%, but some days I'll eat less. Some days I'll eat more. Some days I'll only bank 5%. Some days I'll bank 20%, right? So never force feed yourself. And if you're working with me on plan and I've given you 1,750 calories a day, Monday to Friday, and then 2,750 Saturday and 2,500 Sunday, if it gets to the end of the day and you're not hungry and you've had 1,600 calories, right? And you're like, oh, Neil sent me 70. I need to have another. No, you don't. That's just either going to cover another day where you eat a little bit more because your appetite might be slightly higher, or it's just a few extra calories for the weekend. Yeah. So, and what Gemma's saying there, and I think I've got the grasp a little bit. Gemma's struggling to hit her calories daily, which she's probably not struggling over a week to hit her calories or anything like that. It's just, and it's really common. It genuinely is. It's a really common issue. And it is just one of the issues people find when they come on plan with me is accepting food freedom. Because like I say, every other way we've lost weight, there is very limited food freedom. You might be like, well, Slimming World gives us free food and you can eat as much as you want. Yeah, but give you pasta and potatoes in free food. Doesn't give you chocolate. Of course it doesn't. Slimming World's very restricted. The overall plan of Slimming World is very restricted because the amount of sins you get is very limited. The amount of sins you get is limited, and the amount they sin high-calorie foods is very limited. If that makes sense. Like you might get 12 sins a day and a chocolate bar's 10 sins. It's like flipping out. My entire sin pot is gone just if I want a Mars bar, or a bag of crisps or something like that. Heaven forbid I want a bit of chocolate and a bag of crisps. And people find it hard. So I give food freedom in terms of calories. I give food freedom in terms of flexibility of how we work with our calories over a week. I give food freedom in the sense that nothing is off limits. I'm not telling people to just go and eat crisps and chocolate day in, day out. A lot of people think that is my philosophy. It really isn't. But that's, again, because people on social media are very rigid in their thinking because of the way diet culture is, right? Can't eat this, can't eat that, right? Can't eat after this time of night, you can't, blah, blah, blah. They just see one thing. Oh, Neil's posted a ready meal on Thursday. He's telling people just to eat ready meals. How crazy is that? It's like going out for your tea on a Saturday night and going, oh, Neil's telling everyone to go out for the tea on a Saturday night. It's like posting a chocolate bar. Oh, Neil's telling everyone to eat loads of chocolate every single week. No, it doesn't work like that, right? You know, I might post 3 ready meals in a week, right? We have lunch and tea 14 times over a week. So if you have 2 ready meals and then cook fresh the other 12, what's the issue? You know, especially when you need a bit of convenience. Gemma's followed up with, I'm not struggling to eat them. I just can't get that thought out of my head. And it's annoying that even though I know the plan, my brain hasn't snapped out. Yeah, so it is. So Gemma's just, it's just that rigid mindset we've had from previous like weight loss, you know. And I don't know if anyone else in terms of weight loss, Gemma's come from Team RH, right? I don't know how they look at calories. I know they give you a calorie allowance, and I know they give quite a good calorie allowance, but do they teach you to bank calories? Is everything set in stone? In my eyes, and some people might argue this successfully, but I'll argue it successfully back at them. We're not robots, right? If you try and eat exactly the same amount of food every day, if you try and eat exactly the same amount of calories every single day, right? It doesn't work. That's not life. That's not how life works. That's disordered eating. It doesn't work like that. Some people, you know, we're trying to create a normalized eating pattern here. Now, you know, a lot of people will always argue, well, what is normal? Right? Normal is eating, you know, can I sum up being normal? Right? Normal is eating a healthy, balanced diet while including some of the foods you love within the calories set for your goal. That's a normalized eating pattern, right? But a normalized eating pattern is not, you know, eating exactly the same amount of calories every single day, sticking to the same amount of sins every single day, right? That isn't normal. If you go and hang around, everyone's got a friend that never seems to have had a weight issue, whether it's because they just look after them, you know, they're very health focused and they do a lot of movement, very conscious about their diet, or you know, we all have that one friend that's frustrating to us because they literally seem like they eat absolute garbage, don't exercise, don't really move that much, yet they don't get fat. We've all got that friend. If you follow them around 24/7, their eating pattern, they're eating in a calorie maintenance. They probably move way more than you actually give them credit for, right? And they actually don't eat as many calories as you discredit them for, right? So, you know, if I see someone post on social media they're having a pizza for their tea, I'm like, they're having a pizza for their tea. That person that's posting, oh, Domino's for tea tonight, and there are very, very weird people that do this. They're out there. You can be one of those weird people, right? I'm semi in the middle of one of these weird people, but there are people that order Domino's for their tea, and they don't eat it all. I'm like, who are these strange people? Whereas in my head, you know, we'll get friends that'll post a takeaway, oh, Chinese for tea, and I'm straight away 2,000, 2,500 calories, right? And they probably are like, no, 800 calories, 1,000 calories. We've got 5,000 calories worth of food, but I'll only eat 1,000 calories worth. And I'm like, who are these weird people? We used to, the first time we went around to our friends, Brad and Vic might be on this morning. Hello, Victoria. If you're on. Anyway, I don't think they do anymore, but they used to be quite fond of a Domino's, right? And they used to have Domino's quite often. And I remember going around there and like we'll order Domino's when they first moved into their new house that they're in now. And I'm sat there and I'm just chomping away and I polished my pizza off. And I'm not saying they didn't, but I remember we've done it a few times. I remember one time Brad was like, he ate half of it, and I'll take the other half for lunch tomorrow. And I'm like, well, there you go. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's great self-control around food, which I don't have, right? But if Brad and Vic's post on Instagram, Domino's for tea tonight, my mindset is, because this is me, because I'm a greedy sod, I just automatically, all that Domino's will be eaten, right? And I was like, well, there you go. You know, yeah, that's a 2,000 calorie pizza, but 1,000 calories for your tea and 1,000 calories for your lunch the next day. It's not actually that bad, you know? So it's one of them, you know, we have this association that this person can eat whatever they want, right? But they might eat whatever they want in terms of food, but they don't eat as much as you do that's judging them. They don't, because I've been there. I'd see friends on social media that, you know, out for burger and chips or out for, oh, have you seen the new M&S cookies or this, that, and the other? And they'll have half a cookie. And they go, oh, it's lovely. You know, it's like all these food reviewers, you know, that are in really good shape. Like, there's this one guy that Rachel follows. He's in America and he does like crumble cookies and this, that, and the other. And he eats every cookie. Like, don't get me wrong, unless he's got an ED afterwards and he takes it out of his system after he stopped filming. But he doesn't, because he literally shows like a day in the life of someone. So he'll buy like 6 crumble cookies and he'll scoff them. And we're talking 6,000 calories in one hit. But what he does is when he does a review on new Domino's pizza, and everyone's like, how does he have a physique like that? And he eats nothing but, you know, how does he have a pizza like that? How does he, have a physique like that and eats because when he gets like a new Domino's or a Papa John's that he's reviewing or a pizza, or he gets a big piece and he eats it up. He eats it. He gets 6 crumble cookies. He eats it. He did the other week. I don't know if he ate it all, but he got 6 slices of new flavors of cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. And he literally, I think he did. I think he ate them all. I think. But then he goes, but then he does his day in the life videos of like, this is, you know, day in life. And he's like, I eat like that once a week. And that is what he calls his cheat meal. Right, once a week. So during the week, he eats in a calorie deficit. He goes running, he trains, he's just on chicken, rice, broccoli, whatever, you know, like proper boring, mundane. He is a bit of a robot, right? But then once a week for his food review videos, right, he will just smash in 6,000 to 10,000 calories in one hit. But over the course of a week, and he'll tell his calories during the week. So he'll do like, you know, 2,000 calories Monday, 2,000 calories Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Saturday or Sunday when it's his review day, he'll do like 13,000 calories. So the guy eats 23,000 calories over a week, trains like a demon, does loads of movement, and his overall diet, because that's the only thing you would have that would negatively impact health if overeaten over time. It's all about balance. Does that make sense? Anyway. What was I getting to? Yeah, there are weird people out there that don't eat everything. I do. If I order a pizza, that pizza's getting smashed in, and anything makes or leaves. And this is why we have to be controlled when we have takeaways, because it's just who I am as a, you know, if I'm having a takeaway, I'm having a takeaway. I suppose I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. I suppose that's my mentality. I can be a little bit the same when it's drinking. You know, I'm an all or nothing. I'd rather have a right good session once every 6 to 8 weeks than have 4 or 5 pints every weekend. It doesn't, do you know what I mean? Like I say, right, so wrong, it's just who I am as a person. Is it normal to feel cold when losing weight? Yes, you're in a calorie. Yeah, it is. It is a side effect of being in a calorie deficit. Why would you feel more cold in a calorie deficit? Is it because it's a little bit psychological, but it's also a little bit of, you know, you're putting less fuel in your body, right? And sometimes the body will channel energy to different areas. And when you are eating in a calorie deficit, your body's never actually in a calorie deficit. Your body will always use fat or carbs for energy. How a calorie deficit works is your body uses a certain amount of fat for energy throughout the day, and you just replace it with less fat. Everything you eat converts to fat, right? So it's not like you eat 2,000 calories and we'll burn off those 2,000 calories. And I know I describe it like this sometimes, but it's not like we eat 2,000 calories. The body will use that 2,000 calories, and then when it needs more calories, then it'll tap into fat stores. It doesn't work like that. It's an energy balance, yeah. But yeah, it's just, I mean, there might be some scientific reason behind it, but yeah, it is quite common. And when you lose weight, you feel cold. But you've also got to understand fat is an insulator, right? So your body is used to having a certain amount of insulation, right? And it's kind of like let's say you stand outside and you've got let's say you've got 10 layers on hoodies. Right? Let's say you put 10 hoodies on, right? And or let's just say you stand outside and I've got a hoodie on and I've also got a jacket on over the top. And I stand outside for 15 minutes and then I take the jacket on over the top. I've still got some insulation, but my insulation is less. So I'm going to feel a little bit colder. And then after another 15 minutes, I take my hoodie off and I'm just stood in a t-shirt. I'm going to feel colder still. That's kind of the thing. You're peeling away layers. You know, when you lose body fat it does come off more in certain areas than others, but you do lose body fat everywhere. So if you imagine your whole subcutaneous fat is fat that sits under our skin. Skin covers your entire body. Your entire body has a certain element of body fat. Your fingers have a smidge of fat under the skin. Your face does. Your ears do. Right? Look at them taxi doors. You know, everywhere. So, and you will lose a little bit of fat off your fingers. It'll be a smidge compared to what you'd lose off your tummy or your bum. But yeah, so you just you're losing. So when you're in a calorie deficit, your body doesn't regulate your temperature as well, right? Because it might be, and this is more relevant the stricter the deficit. So if you're over restricting yourself, very, very what are common signs that you're over restricting yourself with calories? Hair loss, skin looks rubbish, cold all the time. Right, that is a classic sign that you are over restricting yourself with calories. Classic signs, as it were. You know, they do not promote banking. Right, so T-Bar, now he must have a reason for why his philosophies are that he doesn't promote banking calories. Why he doesn't promote normalized eating. So, and this is just, you know, and it isn't normalized eating. Like I say, you go follow anyone around that doesn't have a weight issue. Whether they're unhealthy, whether they're healthy, it doesn't matter. Get 10 random people, follow them around, track their calories, right? Track their calories. Their calories will be different day in, day out. Some days they'll be lower, some days they'll be higher. They'll have peak days, they'll have low days, right? And then track them the week after, right? If you go and track 5 random people that don't have a weight issue, right? Not only will their calories be different on a day-to-day basis, their calories will be slightly different on a week-to-week basis. And you'll also find if you compare week 1, if you compare calories on a Monday, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, every Monday will be different. Every Tuesday will be different, right? Go through your bank account, right? And think of it like this. I always love comparing calories and money because the two things that, if we overspend, we'll end up in trouble. Calories and money, responsible with both of them, you're going to be in a much better place. All right. Go through your bank account. How much money did you spend last Monday? How much money did you spend the Monday before? How much money did you? Now, Monday's probably a low spend day, right? Certainly compared to, say, a Saturday, right? I guarantee you didn't spend, you know, one Monday, you might do a food shop and put petrol in your car, and actually you spend 100 quid, right? The following Monday, you did your food shop on Sunday and put petrol in your car on Sunday, right? So you literally just stopped at the garage on the way to work and got a Monster Energy. You stopped at Starbucks on the way, and that was it. That's all you spent. You took your lunch, right? You just got yourself Starbucks, 5 quid, right? So one Monday, 100 quid. Food's so different. It's maybe a little bit more level than that, but I guarantee. So when has it ever been a normal? You know, if you were, everyone loves going back. You know, 100 years ago we weren't fat. 100 years ago people didn't eat the same amount of food every single day, right? You know, and then people go back. Oh, hunter gatherers. We should be hunter gatherers. You're giving me the advice that I should eat like a hunter gatherer when you live in your centrally heated house, driving your lovely air conditioned car with Apple Play, recording content to millions of people on a phone that can literally, you know, that 50 years ago would have flown 30 million people to the moon. Okay. And you're telling me to eat like I did 10,000 years ago. It's all right. Nut job. It is a nut job. It's a crazy mentality, isn't it? It's a crazy mentality. Trying to teach us to eat the same. Like we can look back in time when people didn't have a weight issue and then go, right, well, what are the big differences between the 60s and now? right? And maybe we need to implement more of what was in then than we do now, just to try and bring a bit more balance, right? But, you know, to try and teach people to eat the way we did, you know, 10,000 years ago, like what, eat the way our ancestors did, what they went to a butcher's and got butchered meat, right? And said, "Oh, I'll have two 10-ounce ribeyes, please." That's what they did 10,000 years ago. It's absolutely mental. It is mental, right? The way people are, you know. You know. But anyway, there you go. So yeah, to follow on, you can become. But anyway, yeah, it is for me personally. It isn't normal a normalized eating pattern trying to eat the same amount of food every single day. Just doesn't work, because this is how I teach my clients. There's always going to be days where you need more calories. Pete said this morning on the live, a week on Friday, he's got his cousin's wedding. So if your mentality is honed in that I have to eat the same calories every single day, that means when Pete goes to an all-day wedding, he can only eat 2,500 calories. Like, I'm sorry, but the chance, and don't get me wrong, some coaches might go, well, yes, if your journey is important to you and you want to be amazing, yes, you do go to your cousin's wedding and just eat 2,500 calories, and you just eat the wedding breakfast, and you just have a very portion control, and you just drink lime and soda all day and maybe have one glass of wine. Maybe I'm incorrect in saying, no, when you go to a wedding, you flip and enjoy your cousin's wedding and you get back to it the next day or 2 days later, and we try and build that in. And, you know, for that 1 week, we work more towards maintenance. For me personally, that's a much more healthy and sustainable way to lose weight and look at weight loss than it is to go, no, you can't enjoy yourself while losing weight. Everything has to be bang, 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 like we're in the army. We're not. Right. So, you know, a guy I work with never seems to stop eating while at work. Ready meals, meal deals, sweets, etc. And he's not fat at all. I asked what he eats at home, and it's basically nothing, as he hates cooking. So he eats pretty much all his calories while at work and almost nothing else. Exactly. But I told this story last week. Rachel used to work with a girl called Jess, and when she first started working there, and Jess was like her boss kind of thing, like her line manager, as it were. When she first started working there, Rachel was like, we'd not been together that long. Rachel was on a bit of it because I was a fully focused weight loss journey. I wasn't, to be honest with you. I sort of maintained more 2015, but still Rachel was like trying to change her eating habits and this and that. So I said, oh, Jesse's at work, and, you know, next thing there'll be a pack of donuts, next thing there'll be this. And after a bit of time, Rachel, you know, when she got to know her, she was in there a couple of months, she sort of asked her and said, I just do not know how you eat what you eat and stay slim. And Jess was like, no, I don't know either. And Rachel was like, what do you eat at home? And she was like, nothing. Same scenario as Jess there. She's there. It's like nothing. Don't. And Rachel was like, what do you mean? She says, well, she said, I drink wine at home. Why no, but I don't mean like that. I just mean like, and she was literally like, so basically, this was her routine. She'd get up in the morning and she'd go to the gym and train. Right? And she trained for an hour and a half in the gym pretty much every day. Right? How she did this after having a bottle of wine, I don't know, but that was just a routine. She would train an hour and a half in the gym. She'd get home, she'd go to work, right? And she'd have like a meal deal. She might get a Mackey's breakfast on the way to work, 500 calories. She'd get a meal deal at work. She might have a couple of donuts. And then she'd get home and she'd have a bottle of wine. Now, you've got to remember, she's eating in a calorie maintenance because she's not weight loss. She wasn't overweight. So her calorie maintenance, and she did quite a lot of moving, and she used to go on hikes at the weekend and stuff like that. She used to enjoy movement at the weekend and stuff like that. So her maintenance was probably 2,000 calories a day, and a bottle of wine's 500 calories. So she had 500 calories of wine and 1,500 calories worth of food. Junk food and not healthy overall. Like there's no such thing as unhealthy foods, but if you eat calorie dense food with low nutritional value day in, day out for weeks and weeks and weeks, that will be detrimental to health short term. And if you do that for a long period of time, it'll be detrimental to health long term, right? But it's what she did. It's not what you eat that makes you fat. It's how much you eat. Yeah. I think it's to prevent binge eating, especially in the first few months, I guess. But it doesn't prevent binge eating because all you're doing is restricting. You're just promoting a binge and restrict cycle. Now, I know with Team RH, they make you do a lot of steps, which gives you a lot of calories. right? But having lower calorie days and therefore some higher calorie days isn't binge eating. It's food freedom with boundaries, right? But if you have someone eating 2,500 calories every single day, right, that's restrictive, even though it's a healthy calorie allowance, right? And the classic way to cause binge eating is to teach people to eat in a restrict and binge cycle, and reining people in to eat exactly the same amount of calories day in, day out is restrictive. Because, like I say, when you've got a wedding, right, you're probably going to eat more than 2,500 calories. When you want to enjoy Chinese with the family, you're going to eat more than 2,500. So, like I say, I know Team RH give healthy amounts of calories because they've asked you to do 15,000 steps. And obviously, the more calories you eat, probably the easier it is to eat the same every. You know, if I go to maintenance, my maintenance is 3,500 calories, right? It's not that often I eat more than 3,500 calories, even on a Saturday, Sunday, unless I'm going out. But still, every now and then I go out, right? So I kind of get, I don't know if that's what he says. If you've done Team RH, he says it's to prevent binge eating. It doesn't. You put people, even giving people a very big calorie allowance day in, day out, is still having something set in stone is restrictive. However, you know, saying to someone you can only spend £500 a day, you might be like, that would be why do you spend £500 every single day? That's £3,500. Yeah, but that's all you can spend. You can't spend any more. What about that one time where you want a new cooker? You might be like, well, that's it's not a bit different, right? If your mentality is I've £500 and I can't spend any more, right? I can't save up. I can only spend £500. What about if your car blows up or you need 4 new tires on your car? Like I said, I'm not saying the days where you need to spend 500 quid come often. They don't, or they shouldn't do, but they will come a few times a year, right? But if your mentality is as soon as you spend £501, that is just rattling. Let me just let the dog out. As soon as you spend £501, in fact, I'm going at I am going at 9:30 this morning because I'm trying to get in a bit of a better routine on a Monday. Mondays, you know, I always say it's rubbish chasing your tail. I never do a weight loss. I always do with work. And I always like to do a little bit longer on a Monday morning because it's a new weight loss week. But I'm back at 8 o'clock tonight. Anyway, there we go. So I kind of get that mentality where, because it is common, if you give someone an inch, they can take a mile. But it's my job as a coach to give someone, I don't give someone an inch. I give someone 6 inches. Take that as you will. You know, give someone an inch, they take a mile. My job as a coach is, yes, I give all my clients an inch. That still sounds wrong. But anyway, I give all my clients an inch, right? And it's my job as a coach to stop them taking a mile. Does that kind of make sense? Anyway, there we go. Stefan, good morning. Right, I'm going very, very shortly. It just seems setting people up to fail, telling them to be so rigid. It is. That's it. You're setting people up to fail because no one will stick to it. And the problem is when you set something up that people aren't permanently going to be able to stick to, as soon as they don't stick to it, they feel like they failed themselves. I try and give so much freedom within boundaries. And again, that might sound counterproductive, but I just want people to stay positive all the time. I want people to drag themselves out of the quagmire of diet culture. Constantly, I've blown it. I've ruined my week. I've ruined my weight loss week. I messed up yesterday. What have you messed up with? Well, I ate 3,000 calories and my daily is 2,000. Well, what have you really messed up? You've had a few more calories than you wanted to. I get that, and it can be a bit frustrating. But let's look at it in the bigger picture, right? You still back 500 calories for the week, right? And let's just say for this week you end up in a smaller calorie deficit. You're still losing body fat. So what's the issue? And straight away, the mindset becomes more positive. And like, you know, and again, it's the same as like I said there, you might only want to spend X amount a day, but, you know, you save up, blah, blah, blah. And one day your exhaust falls off your car. And you take it to the garage, like, it's 300 quid for a new exhaust. Didn't need this today. But you did mix your savings. You buy a new exhaust, you pay 300 quid. And in the grand scheme of things, it just means your savings are £300 less. And that's because you've been responsible with your money, right? Now, if you're not responsible with your money and you've got no money in your bank account, right, and you owe £5,000 on a credit card and you've also got a personal loan for 10 grand and you've got bills coming out left, right and centre, and you've got to spend 300 quid, right? Yeah, that gets a little bit like, but, you know, teaching people to be responsible with calories more often than not, when they have the odd day where things don't go to plan, and it happens. And why we can't try and lose weight in such a rigid fashion is because we can be as proactive as possible. Life is reactive. What you plan to do on a day doesn't always happen. It can happen more often than not. And what I mean by that is, you know, if your plan is today on a Monday, get up, go to work, go get your Tesco meal deal within your calories, drive home from work, make your tea, go to the gym or go for a nice walk, get back, have a bath, put your comfies on, ready for 9 o'clock, flipping whatever, Love Island. It's not on anymore, I know. But you know what I mean, right? Most Mondays that'll happen. But you'll get the odd Monday where you get up at 9 o'clock and your car breaks down on the way to it, or your car gets declined for your meal deal because for whatever reason, or you just run over at work and you're meant to be finishing work at 5 so you can get home and do your walk. Well, you don't. You finish work at 7 and you're a bit stressed, and on the way home you buy a McDonald's. And this kind of the way my philosophies of weight loss work, if things don't quite go to plan, you can still look at it with a positive outlook. Whereas if everything's very rigid and set in stone, you can't. That's what I'm trying to get at. Did I get it in the end? I have no idea. Right, I'm going. That is me for this morning. I'm going to record my weekly weight loss vlog now. I normally record it. I've been recording in the afternoons, but time just disappears from me because I just end up getting very distracted at times. So I'm going to go let the dog out. Who let the dogs out? The real lost boss did. Because Betty wants to go out. Stretch my legs a little bit. Got a couple of bits and pieces to do. Then I'm going to record my weekly weight loss vlog. Then I'm going to go to the gym. Then I'm going to go and do a weight loss shop. I'm not vlogging it this week. I'm having a week off from vlogs, so I'm going to try and do a new podcast. The last podcast I did is on YouTube. It's not on Spotify. I can't get logged into it. It's kicking me out, and I don't know why. But I did manage to log in. It won't let me log in on my computer, but it will let me log in through my laptop. So the last podcast I did, which is like 2-3 weeks ago now, I'm going to upload it to Spotify. I'm going to record a new one this week, which I'll upload to YouTube. And then I'm going to upload, and then I'm going to record. And then that one will be uploaded to Spotify next week. All right. And then I'm going to try and get a new one uploaded for when I'm going to have the week I go away, because I go away on a Thursday, it's going to be quite light on content for that week. But I'm going to try and record quite a lot of content for that week to have it for the week that I am away. Does that make sense? Anyway, guys, I am out of here. It's been a pleasure as always. If you're struggling with your weight loss, you know where I am. Come and join my one-to-one plan, TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube page, what I do for a living. And it would be my pleasure to get you the right focus and going in the right direction. And you can, I think a lot of people now are getting a little bit, oh, it's Christmas going up. We can get you in such a better place, not just physically, but mentally. Even if the scales aren't massively down by Christmas, we'll work on that mentality. And I tell you now, you come on plan with me, you'll enjoy Christmas more than you've ever enjoyed Christmas if you are just constantly feeling guilty and, how do I lose weight? Oh, Christmas in the way. None of that nonsense with me. Right, TikTok, I'm out of here. Have a lovely day. I will be back at 8 p.m. this evening. And Facebook, YouTube, exactly the same to you guys. Have a great day. I'll be back at 8 p.m. if you're free.